right stock birds. The stock birds you choose will have a big impact on the quality of your racing pigeons. Look for birds that have a good breeding record and that are known for their speed, stamina, and homing ability. Provide a good breeding loft. The breeding loft should be clean, dry, and well ventilated. It should also have plenty of nesting boxes and perches. Feed your pigeons a good diet. Pigeons need a high-quality diet that is rich in protein and vitamins. A good diet will help to ensure that your pigeons are healthy and that they produce quality offspring. Mate your pigeons carefully. When mating your pigeons, it is important to choose pairs that are compatible and that have a good chance of producing quality offspring. Be patient. Breeding pigeons takes time and patience. Don't expect to see results overnight. With careful breeding and management, you can eventually build a successful pigeon racing program. Here are some additional tips. Keep records. It is important to keep records of your breeding program. This will help you to track the progress of your pigeons and to make informed decisions about your breeding program. Be prepared to cull. Not all of the pigeons you breed will be winners. Be prepared to cull the birds that are not performing well. Seek advice from experienced breeders. There are many experienced breeders who can offer advice and support. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Have fun. Breeding pigeons is a rewarding hobby. Enjoy the process and the results. Intensive breeding is a method of breeding that uses inbreeding and line breeding to refine the genetic material of a population. The goal of intensive breeding is to produce specimens that are homozygous for desired traits, which can then be used to produce hybrids that are superior performers. Inbreeding is the mating of closely related individuals, such as siblings or parents and offspring. Line breeding is a form of inbreeding in which individuals are mated to their descendants. Both inbreeding and line breeding can be used to increase the homozygosity of a population, but inbreeding is more likely to produce deleterious genetic combinations. The process of intensive breeding begins with the selection of foundation pairs that have the desired traits. These pairs are then mated and their offspring are inbred. The process is repeated several times, with the goal of producing specimens that are homozygous for the desired traits. Once specimens that are homozygous for the desired traits have been produced, they can be used to produce hybrids with other unrelated lines. These hybrids are more likely to be superior performers than the offspring of two unrelated lines. Intensive breeding is a complex process that requires a deep understanding of genetics and breeding theory. It is important to note that intensive breeding can also produce deleterious genetic combinations, so it is important to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. I agree with you that there is no such thing as a perfect pigeon, and that intensive breeding is a complex process that requires a lot of patience and trial and error. I also agree that it is important to have good record keeping and a system to keep your matings and progress straight. Inbreeding can produce inferior pigeons, but it can also produce superior pigeons. The key is to be selective in the pigeons that you inbreed, and to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. Intensive breeding can be a very effective way to improve the genetic quality of a population, but it is important to be aware of the risks involved and to carefully monitor the health and fitness of the breeding stock. Racing performance. Racing performance is a good indicator of breeding potential, as it shows that the pigeons have the physical and mental qualities necessary for long-distance flights. However, it is important to remember that there are many other factors that can affect a pigeon's racing performance, such as its health, training, and the weather. Breeding performance. A good breeder will produce a high percentage of birds that are successful in racing and breeding. This means that they are able to select for the genetic traits that are most important for success in both areas. However, it is important to remember that there is no guarantee that any particular bird will be a good breeder, even if it is a good racer. Physical characteristics. There are many different physical characteristics that can affect a pigeon's breeding potential, such as its size, shape, and feather quality. However, it is important to remember that there is no single perfect pigeon, and that different breeders will prefer different physical characteristics. The most important thing is to choose pigeons that you believe will be successful in your breeding program. Here are some additional tips for selecting pigeons for breeding. Look for pigeons that are healthy and well-fed. Avoid pigeons that are too old or too young. Breeding performance is a key factor in determining the success of a pigeon racing program. By selecting birds that have a history of producing quality racing pigeons, breeders can increase the chances of producing champions. However, it is important to note that there is no guarantee that a bird that has produced winners in the past will continue to do so in the future. Genetics play a role in breeding performance, but so do environmental factors such as training and nutrition. Physical characteristics. There are a number of physical characteristics that are desirable in racing pigeons. These include wing length. Longer wings allow pigeons to fly faster and further. Throat size. A wide throat allows pigeons to breathe more easily during long flights. Muscle tone. Strong muscles allow pigeons to fly for long periods of time without tiring. Air sacs. Large air sacs help pigeons to absorb oxygen and expel carbon dioxide more efficiently. Back strength. A strong back allows pigeons to carry heavy loads during long flights. Tail shape. A forked tail helps pigeons to steer more effectively during flight. Selection for breeding. When selecting birds for breeding, it is important to consider both their physical characteristics and their breeding performance. By selecting birds that have a combination of desirable physical traits and a proven track record of producing winners, breeders can increase the chances of producing a champion flock. Here are some tips for selecting birds for breeding. Look for birds with the physical characteristics that you are looking for. Consider the breeding performance of the bird's parents. Mate birds from different lines to increase the genetic diversity of your flock. Cull birds that are not producing to your standards. Be patient and persistent. It takes time to build a successful pigeon racing program. Choose the right stock birds. When choosing stock birds for breeding, it is important to consider their physical characteristics, their breeding performance, and their temperament. You should choose birds that are healthy, strong, and have a good track record of producing winners. Provide the right environment. Pigeons need a clean, safe, and well-ventilated loft to breed successfully. The loft should be equipped with nesting boxes, feeding and watering stations, and a place for the pigeons to exercise. Feed your pigeons a nutritious diet. Pigeons need a diet that is high in protein and fat to support their breeding and racing activities. You should feed your pigeons a diet that is made up of a variety of grains, seeds, and vegetables. Provide your pigeons with plenty of water. Pigeons need access to plenty of fresh, clean water to drink. You should provide your pigeons with a water source that is both accessible and clean. Monitor the breeding process. It is important to monitor the breeding process to ensure that everything is going smoothly. You should check the nesting boxes regularly to make sure that the eggs are healthy and that the pigeons are caring for their young. Handle the young pigeons gently. The young pigeons are very fragile and need to be handled gently. You should avoid handling them too much and should never pick them up by the wings. Provide a good training program. Pigeons need to be trained in order to race successfully. A good training program will help to improve your pigeon's speed, stamina, and homing ability. Maintain a healthy flock. Pigeons are susceptible to a number of diseases. It is important to maintain a healthy flock by providing them with good food and housing, and by vaccinating them against diseases. Be prepared for setbacks. Pigeon racing can be a challenging hobby. There will be times when your pigeons get sick or injured, or when they don't perform as well as you would like. It is important to be prepared for setbacks and to not give up. Enjoy the journey. Pigeon racing is a rewarding hobby. Enjoy the process of breeding, training, and racing your pigeons. Pigeons for breeding, here are some simple guidelines to follow. Consider the pedigree, look for pigeons with a strong lineage of winners. Check the performance records of the immediate predecessors in both the race loft and breeding loft. The more winners in the bird's ancestry, the higher the chances of it being able to breed winners itself. Remember, consistent performance over multiple races is more important than a single exceptional performance. Evaluate performance, take into account the actual performance of the pigeons you are considering for breeding. Look for birds that have flown well in multiple races. Sometimes, there are pigeons with good stock that couldn't succeed at racing themselves but have siblings or close relatives who were champion racers. Such birds can still be valuable for breeding purposes. Assess physical appearances. While not the sole determinant, physical appearances can play a role in identifying good breeders. Focus on pigeons with a build suitable for racing, particularly for long-distance racing without a strong tailwind. Look for wings with a certain design, supple and weightless muscles, a well-balanced body shape, and a clean and narrow epiglottis. Keep in mind that exceptions exist, so be cautious in making judgments based solely on physical appearances. Distance specialization. Consider the distance at which the pigeon's ancestors were successful and ensure it aligns with the distances at which you intend its offspring to compete. Pigeons that have excelled in races no further than 500 kilometers may not be ideal for breeding 1,000 kilometers winners. The chances of success are higher when the parent's performance matches the desired distance specialization. Lack of specialization can lead to breeding contradictions, where pigeons perform differently at different distances. Remember that these guidelines provide a starting point, and individual breeding programs may have additional considerations based on specific goals and preferences. Regular monitoring of the offspring's performance and continuous selection based on desired traits are essential for breeding success. Health and genetics. It is crucial to select pigeons that are in good health and free from any hereditary diseases or genetic abnormalities. Healthy birds have a higher chance of producing healthy and strong offspring. Consider the overall health of the pigeons, including their vitality, immunity, and resistance to common pigeon diseases. Compatibility and compatibility testing. When pairing pigeons for breeding, consider their compatibility in terms of temperament and behavior. Pigeons that get along well are more likely to form successful breeding pairs. Additionally, it can be helpful to perform compatibility tests by temporarily housing potential breeding pairs together and observing their interactions. This can give you insights into their compatibility and the likelihood of successful breeding. Breeding systems. There are different breeding systems you can utilize, such as inbreeding, line breeding, or outcrossing. Each system has its advantages and considerations. Inbreeding and line breeding can help fix desired traits but also increase the risk of inheriting undesirable traits. Outcrossing introduces genetic diversity but may result in inconsistent offspring. Choose a breeding system that aligns with your breeding goals and carefully manage the selection and pairing of pigeons accordingly. Keep detailed records. Maintaining detailed records of your breeding program is essential. Keep track of the performance of individual pigeons, their breeding history, and the performance of their offspring. This information will help you make informed decisions when selecting future breeding pairs and improve the overall quality of your pigeon loft. Seek advice and learn from experienced breeders. Engage with experienced pigeon breeders, join local pigeon clubs, and attend pigeon exhibitions and races. Networking with knowledgeable breeders can provide valuable insights and guidance in pairing pigeons for breeding. Learning from their experiences and expertise can help you refine your breeding program and increase your chances of success. Remember that successful breeding takes time, patience, and continuous evaluation. It's important to be flexible and adapt your breeding strategies based on the results and observations you gather over time. There are many reasons to buy my Racing Pigeon method. Here are some of the best reasons. You will get excellent results. It's a very simple system to use. It's affordable. I have had over 400 first prize winners. It's adaptable to any situation. You can use it with any racing method, natural, widowhood, young birds. It's a very effective method. There is no need to spend a lot of money on fancy pigeon products. It's a reliable system and it is foolproof to use. Professional athletes, race horses, take the same products. There is science behind this, not just hearsay. It is all to do with red blood cells and oxygen in the blood. Without that, a pigeon will not race well, or an athlete will not win a race. If he has low oxygen in his blood, the above is fact and is 100% science. There are a few things you can do to improve your chances of winning at Racing Pigeons. One of the most important things is to learn as much as you can about the sport. You'll need to know the different types of pigeons, how to train them, and how to race them. Another key factor is practice. You'll need to be able to fly your pigeons competently in order to win races. And, of course, you'll need to have the funds to invest in racing pigeons and other racing equipment. Get my main racing system, just email me direct. I'm an experienced ex-pigeon racer from England, and I can offer valuable insights and guidance on all aspects of pigeon racing, from breeding to racing. During my racing days, I managed a small team of no more than 70 pigeons, including stock, young birds, and old birds. It was not uncommon for me to send as few as 6 birds to a race and still secure the top 3 positions out of up to 2,500 pigeons in my club and federation. My race distances typically ranged up to 300 miles, and I consistently achieved top 5 placements in my club. My expertise extends to the art of selecting excellent breeders, including evaluating pigeons based on their eye sign characteristics. I firmly believe that true champions can only be bred from top quality stock, and I can guide you in identifying and acquiring such pigeons. I understand that many pigeons for sale are advertised based on their lineage or pedigree, but I emphasize the importance of assessing the bird itself rather than relying solely on paperwork. As part of my offer, I invite you to share photos of your pigeons, including their eye sign and wing characteristics. I'll provide you with free advice on racing and breeding based on my extensive experience and knowledge. Additionally, I will share auction links to high-quality breeding birds that have the potential to produce winners in your loft. Here's what you can expect to receive from me. A comprehensive Word document containing valuable insights and strategies for successful pigeon racing, including specific racing methods for both old and young birds, as well as general advice. Private YouTube videos sent to your email, covering various aspects of pigeon racing, from breeding to race preparation. Detailed recommendations on supplements and additives to add to your pigeons' drinking water, with scientific evidence supporting their effectiveness. Similar products are used by professional athletes and racehorses to enhance performance. Assurance that your pigeons will race home faster, provided that you have quality birds to begin with.